Hello, English 1101. Professor Green here. I will be reviewing in this lesson mistakes to avoid in rhetorical analysis, as well as some success strategies for writing your rhetorical analysis. So these mistakes we will start with are some very critical mistakes that you want to avoid, and this comes from years of observation as I've taught this assignment now for 3+ years now at KSU. So let's get going with the mistakes. So number one, you start writing or you write mostly an opinion argument paper. That should be none of this, okay? That's the third major assignment. The rhetorical analysis is not an opinion or argument paper. You're not taking a stance on an issue, okay, or making a hard argument about an issue. Your opinion on the issue or the speaker or the topic is not part of this, and any commentary is not needed and should be avoided. So when I mean commentary, your personal opinions about gun control, social media use, fast fashion, so to speak, or the company. I've had students go on a sidebar where they start criticizing Apple, saying they're really not sincere or something, or Nike's criticize Nike for their use of low-cost labor, so forth. That does not need to be a part of this. Okay, so your commentary, put that aside. Very important. Okay, you don't put your personal spin or bias into that. That's not allowed. You're not writing in first person at all. I will repeat that. No first person. That's allowed. That's in the guidelines. But you really want to ignore your beliefs on this topic or the speaker or the company. Your objective is very clear. Put it here. You're analyzing your chosen media from a non-biased third-party perspective. Third party just means you're taking a analytical view of this and not letting your personal feelings or beliefs get in the way. Okay? So remember, you want to analyze through rhetorical appeals, ethos, pathos, logos, and then also you want to look at the rhetorical triangle as well. Okay, moving on to another mistake. Mistake number two, you start writing or you write mostly a play-by-play summary of the media, of the speech, of the advertisement. You want to avoid this at all costs. This is the most common of the two mistakes. Students will essentially write a detailed summary with very little analysis or almost no analysis. Do not give me a play-by-play of every minute, okay, every 30 seconds of the video. That is not what this assignment is about. You will need many details, but you can't include all details. So you need to have a balance of your analysis with the specific details or evidence, quotes and evidence from the media. Don't overdo it with evidence because you must leave some room for your analysis, okay? That's important. And so don't fall into the trap of recording, analyzing and trying to fit in every single minute, second of the video you choose. You will not be able to do that. This paper does not allow for that. The length is not long enough to do that. So you have to pick your spots, like choose your spots that you focus on that are the most meaningful or have the most impact to the audience, okay? So that will kind of also help you avoid this play-by-play summary mistake. Okay, now we will move on to some success tactics for your rhetorical analysis. So first key, you want to clearly connect to the three rhetorical appeals. And in your analysis, you actually need to write the word ethos, pathos, or logos in your topic sentences when you start that section, okay, or those paragraphs in that section. So be very clear, like, when you start that section that you are about to cover the ethos, pathos, or logos, okay? And just put that in your topic sentence, which again is just your first sentence of that paragraph in that section. And so that's one part of this. And then you really want to go beyond identifying which appeal is being used and why, and then explain why it matters and how it impacts the audience, okay? It is important that you identify how the appeal, you identify this evidence or this part of the speech or ad is ethos, pathos, or logos. So that's part of it. So you must do that, but you need to go beyond that and explain the why and then give the how it persuades the audience. Like, why does it matter and how does it actually move the audience in some way? And the evidence you provide must clearly match with the appeal you identify. So just make sure it's a good fit. If you're saying something that's humor, make sure it's humor and that is pathos, okay? Humor is pathos. Or if it's something sadness, anger, that would be pathos. Don't identify that as ethos, logos. So just make sure you know your appeals, basically, the three big appeals, and that your evidence matches those when you say it's connected to one of those. Okay, moving on. Another success key is to do an audience analysis that is more than one audience. Every one of your selections has more than one audience, okay? Do not say the general public or just all consumers. Do not be vague. You want to be very precise here and identify your audiences in specific terms. Right here, I have an example for you. Now, New Balance is not one of our video selections, so that's why I chose New Balance, but it could help you with your selection. But this is key with any speaker. If you choose a TED Talk speaker or other speaker, or a commercial ad or a public interest advocacy ad. So New Balance. Shoes, you think shoes, okay, college and high school athletes, yes, they wear New Balance, and they are prospective buyers or users of the equipment. Parents buy for their children that are into sports, or just buy for their children in general for shoes to wear to school. Coaches, athletic directors, and team equipment managers of sports teams, they're making decisions. They would be somebody New Balance would market to. And then general consumers and runners, there are a couple there. Okay, the point is you want to have more than one and be very, very specific when you name your audiences. And that should be a paragraph in the beginning part of your paper, as you'll see in the structured document. You remember your audience as you write, so you don't forget your audience, even though you will have audiences, even though you will have a section of one paragraph is fine, 5 to 6 sentences, whatever, maybe shorter, but a solid paragraph in the beginning where you do some audience analysis. You don't forget that. So when you're writing about how your speaker or the ad is persuasive, you from time to time go back to the audience and say, and this will appeal to this audience or these audiences. So keep that in mind. Okay. The last key to success, and this is not all encompassing, so you still need to follow the guidelines and rubric, but I'm reviewing 3 here. And the final key to success is to follow the structure, document, and the rubric. Okay. I build these to support you and to set you up for success. So you should closely follow the structures document. That's found in content under guidelines and rubrics folder in D2L. And then when you get to your final review, so you've done your rough draft and now you're making revisions and maybe you're doing your final review, you need to check that structure document to make sure that you have included all of the content that I've said to include in your paper, okay? And just look at those side by side and make that comparison and make changes or add content if you need to. And then during your final review, you will also use the rubric as a checklist and review each item to make sure you have the required content, all of the required content. Some students just kind of read over quickly or glance at the rubric and they never really look at it closely, so you need to actually use it as a checklist. Those little boxes, if you print that out, you could actually check those off, or you can do it, digitally, but that's supposed to be a checklist. That's why I have those little tiny boxes to the left of each item. So definitely do these things here for success. And that is it for today. Let me know if you have any questions. Email me, or if you need to set up a Teams meeting before the final draft is due, let me know and we can do that. Take care.